there, folks. Renn here with a fun little drawing tutorial for you. So let's get the playlist going. And today's subject is going to be self-portraits. One of the hardest goddamn things for an artist to do, because there's something about drawing yourself where you have to be really honest about how you look, but at the same time it's really difficult to get right because it's your own face, so any sort of, like, glaring mistakes are gonna stand right out. I know my issue is I can never get my fucking glasses right. It takes me, like, I don't want to tell you how many tries, that's just how ridiculous it is. So, for me, my favorite place to start drawing the face would have to be, I like to start with my neck and my jawline, because those are two fairly solid... Am I using a pencil tool? Oh, I am. Okay, good. Because those are two fairly solid places to, like, sort of start out, right? So, like, your neck does that. Your neck is like a set width, so that's fairly easy. And I'm gonna draw a 3/4 angle view because that's fairly easy. So then, I like to start with the chin then. And I've got a fairly, like, kind of wide chin, but it's not... My jawline isn't, like, exceptionally firm, so, like, we give myself, like, some little roundness of the cheeks. And then upward, and you just do the rest of your face like that. Black. You sort of go up from the jaw, and then do, like, a little... It's, like, kind of circular up there, right? Alright, that's your head. Now, for everybody else, it's gonna be a little different because you're all not clones of me. Sad but true. And it's... So you want to take a good look at yourself, either like a specific, like a picture you want to draw a portrait of yourself from using as a reference, or... I don't know, you can do, like, old school and just, like, look in a mirror like some, like, old-time animator. I know I do that sometimes. I make the weirdest facial expressions. And then, you want to do sort of the symmetry guide for vertical, and then your eye line where your eyes and ears will be. So that's right about here. You want that to fall at about the center of your face, because we all like to draw, like, our eyeballs up here, right? But that's wrong. That's not where your eyes are. You need all this space up here for your forehead, where your nice little brain compartment is, right? So, usually from here, I like to go from the center and start drawing my nose. My nose is kind of like, it's just like a straight up triangle sticking out of my face. That's kind of what it is. My nose is upturned, it just sort of comes out here and does that. Yeah, it's my nose. And then from there I can draw the little, I don't know what the fuck that thing's called, that dimple that sits above your lips, but you do that thing, and then your lips are sort of like, you get a bump, and a little bit in the middle, and they kind of like sit like that, and then you, I know I've seen one tutorial where it's like, your lips are basically a pair of beans. So, you've got lower lip is a bean, and your upper lip is another bean. So, upper, this is where they meet. Lips! Ta-da! Hooray! So that's how you do. That's a quick little way to do lips if lips confound you, because they did that to me for a long ass time. And they're still difficult, but then your lower lip sort of comes in like this and meets up with your chin down here. Hey, not bad. It's starting to look like a face. Now, find my eraser. Come on, come over here. And let's clean this up a bit. So, that's one of the hardest parts out of the way. Your lips and your nose. Alright? Yeah? Okay. And let's do this. I'm gonna have to redraw some of that, but no worries. It's fine. No. Bad. Bad sketchbook. Bad Give me the pencil. Give me the pencil, sketchbook. So there's that. Then there's your eyes. Arguably another pain in the ass part of your face to draw, because this is why I like to do 3/4 views, because I don't have to be symmetrical, thank fuck. Although, if you are using a drawing program like me, and you want to do a full-on frontal view of your face, you can either, if you're in Sketchbook, you can use the symmetry tool, which, so what you draw on one side, it draws on the other, yeah? That comes in handy. Or, another thing you can do is, you draw one eye. Let's just do this like an example. The pupil and all that. And you like the way that eye came out, but your other eye, it just looks like you can't get it quite right. So you select it, and you copy and paste. And then you go and you flip it. No, wrong way. Don't pay attention to me, I'm a dumbass. And you flip it the right way. Yeah, there we go. And then you place the other eye, and hey, look at that! 2 eyes, and you only had to draw one of them. But this is not a full-on face paint. This is not a full-on view. This is a 3/4 view. So I usually start with the more visible eye. Well, actually, that's a lie. I'm gonna do the eyebrows first. So those sort of help me frame everything. Because that's the way I tend to think of drawing, is that it's basically coming up with a way to get the lines to intersect just the right way so they frame your image the way that you view it. It's all kind of like relative geometry. So that eyebrow it's full length, because that's the one you can see dead on. This one is going to be a little foreshortened, because my face is going off to the side like this. So it's, yeah. And my forehead sort of comes down here, and the cheek pops out here, because I got some squishy cheeks. I do, let's be honest. So then, I can start drawing my eye. There we go, there we go. Let's not forget the lower lid. We've got a little bagginess, and the eyelid, and the rest of your face under your eyebrow sort of come together and like scrunch up a little. So you do that. Yeah. And then we draw the other one over here, and it's a little bit hidden behind the bridge of your nose. And again, it's a little foreshortened because you're looking this way. It looks kind of like this. I know I look a little googly-eyed, but what the hell. This isn't going to become a finished painting, so I don't care too much. There, 2 eyes. And actually my jawline's a little wonky, so let's fix that. Because it's really going to come up more like over here. Yeah. Because I'm going to put in an ear. Only one, so you don't have to draw 2. It's always nice. My ears are kind of tiny. And as you all remember from that middle school art class, your ears sort of line up with your eyes just a bit. You see outer folds, the inner thing looks something like this. Yay, there's an ear. And now to do my least favorite part, my fucking glasses. Now, those of you who have glasses, like me, understand that it is a pain in the fucking ass to get them right. It is. So let's start with the bridge of my glasses. I don't like that. Wait, so just like your nose, the bridge of your glasses is curved so it can fit over them. Then I usually do the one you can see here first. So it comes down the side of my nose, then down here. They're kind of square-shaped, but not overtly square-shaped. So they do like kind of this, and then they go behind my ear. Hooray! Now the other side. This is always the hardest part, because again, if you draw a full frontal view of your face, your glasses, they're symmetrical. And that can be one of the hardest things to do if you aren't using a drawing program and you don't have a handy little symmetry tool, is that you have to draw the other one exactly like the first side. And this actually isn't looking too bad, because again, remember, this side is bigger than the other because this is a little foreshortened because my face is tilted to the side. Yeah, that's actually not horrible. I think I like that. And this part of the frame you can't see because it's hidden behind my nose. Hooray! Hooray for noses. Ugh, stuffy. So let's clean up some of the lines we drew. Yeah, boy. Oh, and that's the other thing. Glasses are a little wonky because they reflect light a little differently, because if you're me, your eyes are a little, oblong, in that my eyes are not perfect circles, they're kind of weird oval. It's the 3D equivalent of an oval, I can't remember. But essentially, my eyes are shaped weird because of astigmatism, and that means that I am blind as a fucking bat without my glasses, because my eyes reflect light. The light that enters my eyes, focused by the lens, focuses before it hits my retina, so I'm fucking blind, and I can't see anything that isn't a foot away from my face. So I wear glasses that reflect the light closer, so it actually comes to a focal point when it hits my retina. Hooray! I think that's the right definition for nearsightedness. Who knows, maybe I just described farsightedness. But the part that we care about is that my glasses, because of the way that they reflect the light, they kind of refract my face a little bit, especially when looking at me from a side view. So instead of my face joining neatly like this, it's a little disjointed. Thank you, glasses. Thank you for that. Okay, now, the fun part. Hair! Everybody's hairline's a little bit different. Mine's fairly boxy, partially because I shave my temples to look that way. So that's about what my hairline looks like. And let's see. So, usually does kind of a... This is where you can take some liberties. And always, just draw like a few chunks at each time. Don't try to draw every single strand. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. There's ways to imitate that later that I'll go over. You just sort of do a few swirls. I hate to say that it's like drawing anime hair, but it kind of is. It kind of is. Anime and manga styles just get too much flack in my opinion anyway. Here's kind of like... No. It's kind of bushy, but I'm not... There we go. Yeah, because I have a lot of hair. I have a shit ton of hair, even though I have an undercut. I still have a shit ton of hair, and you can't even tell that it's undercut unless, like, I pull it all up and actually, like, show it off. Thank you, parrots, for that hereditary trait of too much goddamn hair. Yeah. I'm just sort of, like, flubbing it at this point. Then, as you always do with drawing, you want to focus on where there's light and where there are shadows. So, like where my glasses hit my face, there's going to be a shadow from them, naturally. It kind of like distorts itself a little bit and does something like this. Like the areas under my eyes are going to be a little shadowed, the areas under my brows are darker, the area under your nose is going to be... Granted, this all depends on your light source and shit, but I'm just going with the usual, like, light sources up here. So, that also means I have to fix up the top of my head, because the top of my head isn't going to be getting that much shadow. At least not directly. So like shadows fall in like places like where your hair starts to curve under and around, and in between certain chunks it gets darker. But up here, you want to use thinner lines because it's still fairly light. Yeah. You sort of shadow around each curve, and as your hair gets closer to your shoulders, it's darker. Shadow a little bit on the ear. Yeah, that looks pretty good, right? Right. But then, this is only a sketch. We can't just stuff color and everything into that. No, 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 no. That's our sketch. Now we need to make our official inking, lining, or line art, whichever term you want to use is fine. Doesn't matter with me. Let's pick a fun color. Let's use this one. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So, what I like to do is I like to dim the opacity of my sketch layer to about like 50% and then start drawing on top of it. And I zoom in a little bit. Don't like that line. Don't like that one. And now this is where you want to pay close attention to the thickness of your lines and where you're placing them in relevance to your light source, because this is, again, just the line art. You're going to color this in later. And you want to do words. Can't do them. You want to do the primary shading with the colors you use. My style is I like to use inking to get the lines done and then color it in, even if it's my drawing style isn't quite full realism. It's kind of like a combination of that and like sort of a cartoony style. If you want to go for full realism, that's going to be a little bit different, because instead of relying on inking and then coloring it in, you're going to be going full on like painting, like acrylic or oil painting sort of things, where you layer different colors on top of each other in order to create a cohesive whole. I hate painting. I don't have the patience for it, so I do this. Because this is what my art style's like. And I really feel like changing it. I don't like that line. I don't like that line. God damn it, sketchbook. It's just... yeah, that's much better. So you finish your outline up, you do some nice inking, you feel very pleased with your work, and eventually you color it in using whatever the fuck colors you want. This is why I like to go ahead and select a palette of colors I'm going to use, just so that way I don't go completely batshit trying to figure out like, oh, do I want to use like this shade or this shade? I don't know. So I like to go through and pick a palette of colors that I want to use to finish it. Like, so I am very pale, very white. I burn easily in the summer. So like I use that for like a base skin tone. This for like some highlights maybe. And this if I want to shade. Because again, I don't need to go very dark with myself. Maybe like this in like some of the crevices, but that's about it. That's the tone for my skin palette. And whenever you're making a palette for skin tones, you always want to go with more saturated colors. And what that means is that you go more towards the fuller side than the grayscale side. You want richer tones for darker skin too, because otherwise you get a very washed out looking color that just isn't good. So like, if I want to do someone with darker skin, I want to use something like this, or maybe this. And some of this for shading, but again, that's a more washed out grayscale tone And you don't want to use too much of that, because then you can get really just like... You want to use richer, fuller tones 90% of the time. Like this. That's much better. But, again, I'm very pale, so I use these colors. I do my glasses in like this, and use maybe like this for a shading tone. I use that same color for my eyes. My hair is like a weird blonde brown color, so some kind of like goldenrod for like the highlights. Ooh, this is a really good one for like just, this is pretty much the overall tone of my hair. And then like some, no, not that. Ooh, yeah, like that. And another brown for like the, yeah, that's my hair. Usually a decent palette for any part of your portrait should probably be about 4 colors. You don't need to go overboard. That's why it's a palette. You don't need too many. So that's a 3/4 view of things. Let's see if I can't take you doing a face-on view. Huh? Alright. Now, for this, I am gonna... Oh, damn, it's still at half capacity. Don't want that. Now, for this, for the majority of it, I am gonna use the symmetry tool and cheat a little, because if I can find a shortcut, I'm gonna use it. So again, you start with your chin and your jawline. My jaw is sort of like I've got a fairly square face, and then it extends up, and then you circle back around for the top of your head. Et voila! A face. No, not like that. And then your neck sort of like connects here and goes down, and then there's like your shoulders and whatever. Booyah! So, I'm gonna get rid of that for a moment and just, again, do the guidelines. And again, remember, you want this cross sort of area to be about, like, smack in the middle. You don't want it up here, you don't want it down here, because, like, you need all this lovely space for your brain and such. So, let's put the symmetry line back. And then continuing up from the jawline, there's a chin. I don't know what your chin looks like, dear viewer, but mine does kind of that. And then again, your mouth is sort of up here. Your lips come down there and up here. Yeah. Then your nose. This might be tricky with the symmetry tool, but I'm going to try it. So your nose sort of hangs out right about here. Then goes up and meets your face. Yeah, so there's your nose. Then you do the eyebrows. Your eyes, underneath the eyebrows. Let's take away the tool. Yeah, that's okay. I'm not enamored with it entirely, so I'm gonna take the eraser to fix it. Let's take away that front smile. Because I'm a happy person. Yeah. And when you smile, your cheeks kind of do a little bit of this, and you dimple a little bit here, also up here, but I always think it kind of looks like I'm grimacing and I don't really like it. It's up to you. But that's part of what makes the smile look a lot more genuine, is if you include things like the way your cheeks fold when you smile, and the way your eyes sort of squint a little. But I digress. Where's that eraser? Let's fix this up. Okay. No! Bad sketchbook. Bad. So touchy. There we go, that's more like it. And your nose is a little bit different from a face-forward perspective, because the front of your nose sort of comes down like this and goes up towards the nostrils, but the rest of it's the same. With the bridge of your nose meet up here, your eyebrows up the top of your nose, and your eyes down here. It's bad, because I'm a tired person. Your ears meet up about with the size of your face. Hooray! Yes, bridge. Curve it over your nose. Symmetry tool again, because that one's gone. And again, my glasses are kind of... actually, no. Glasses are kind of rectangles. They sort of come down like that, and then go back over my ears. Fuck yeah! That's so much easier! For those of you out there who do not have Autodesk Sketchbook, I cannot help you. I'm sorry. And then your hairline's about the same as with the 3/4 view, it's just you think about what it looks like facing forward instead of off to the side. So it's sorta... the hair sorta does this. And this is one part where if you're using a symmetry tool, you don't want to use it because your hair is not fucking symmetrical. Most of your face is, but your hair is not. Ta-da! There's a shitty sketch of me. Yay! That's how you do a face. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed this little drawing tutorial. Till next time, folks.